Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead of them and their companies. I'm your host, Olivia Salmons, and in each episode we'll uncover the stories behind successful startups, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today we're super excited to have Laura Wright, the founder of Epic at Sales, a coaching and training company dedicated to helping women entrepreneurs transform how they sell, scale, and lead. With over 25 years of experience in sales, Laura has generated more than $47 million in revenue, worked with over 4,000 clients, and built her signature work frames, including No Woman Down, empowering women to sell with ease and integrity. Laura, very warm welcome to Founders Future. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Olivia. It's great to be here.
Awesome, love it. I like to take every journey, every guest we have on back to the beginning. So can you take me back to the start of your journey and what specific problem inspired you to start Epic at Sales?
Oh, I love this idea. Okay, so I'll try to be brief if I can. I'm not usually good at that. But a million moons ago, I was in college and I was overwhelmed with my workload because as a type A hyperachiever, of course, I took too many classes and worked 3 jobs and all the things. And in the midst of everything, I had bought a house when I was like 19. And something just shifted in me. I was unhappy with everything. So I quit my going to school, went and got a job, started selling for other companies. And then this fun, interesting thing happened called 9/11. Will tell you my age as well. And in that moment, I had gone through a breakup over the summer, just disruption with everything. And the company that I was selling for did live events for companies like ExxonMobil. And so everything was shut down. I took a moment, I gathered myself back up, and I was like, what do I actually want to do? So I decided to go back to school to finish my degree because I had left. I sold the house that I owned and I went and built a multi-7-figure real estate investment company. I ran 2 construction crews. We did over 500 houses in about 5 years. It was remarkable. And then a funny little thing called 2008 happened. And here in the States, when everything kicked off and the real estate bubble not only broke and busted, I found myself in a really desperate spot. I was more than $500,000 in financial debt for my business. I was $73,000 in personal debt. It was a disaster. And the man who is now my husband, my boyfriend at the time, didn't know how bad it was. We consequently had conversations and he said, oh, I knew how bad it was. I was waiting for you to come to me. But the moral to all of this story is there was this down on my knees moment where everything had fallen apart. And here I was. I ran a huge business. I made money. I was unemployable. Like I couldn't figure out what to go do next. And I needed to find my way out of this problem and solve things for myself. And so I went to myself and said, what do you know how to do? What can you do? And how can you change this? And I'm great at sales. Sales has been the thread that has gotten me through everything. I believe it's the number one skill every woman and every person, but specifically women, need to master, because what I was able to do was transform myself and create a new business. I want to say I just snapped my fingers and I sold stuff and I built everything. But the truth is, because my heart was hurt the way that I lost my business, I went and started doing done for you sales for other coaches. And I managed to take many of my clients from low 6 figures into multi 7 figures within 12 months to 18 months. But it was hard work. Like I was being the hired hand. I was doing all the heavy lifting with the sales. And then something clicked about 3 years into that journey. And I realized I can't make any more money because I can't duplicate myself. I need to teach other people how to do it. And that's where I built Epic at Sales, where I started teaching other women, especially, but some amazing women, how to sell with my process so that they could create phenomenally well profitable businesses and actually have some more time and space. And I started doing that back in 2009, almost 2010. And I've built and grown my own multi 7-figure coaching and training business. That was a long story short. It was long story long.
No, I think that was a long story short because there was a lot of questions I could have jumped in with to expand. But the one point I did was how you mentioned sales as being one of the most important skills to have with you through life, and I could not agree more with you. I'm very early, obviously early on in my sales journey and having worked with several companies, but the skills that you learn by talking to other people, it's amazing how much they reflect back to you and like you see yourself as a person. Like it's something
Absolutely.
I didn't realize until I stepped into it myself. But yeah, I do want to dive into that more, and I want to get a kind get the viewers get an overview of how you actually work with Epic at Sales. So
Mhm.
can we talk about the business side of it and dive into the business and the offers?
Absolutely. I teach and I also do what I teach. And I think that's really important. Epic at Sales is all about high ticket, high leveraged offers because it's actually, surprise, it's easier to sell higher ticket items than it is to sell lower ticket. And I always explain why is the person who is buying at a super premium or premium rate is usually an advanced buyer. They're not making their first choice. That moment, I still remember the very first thing I ever bought online was $297. And I remember reading it over and over the sales page. I was like hovering over the button to click to buy. It was like the scariest investment I'd ever made. And at that time I'd been buying buildings, but for some reason that online click for training felt so scary.
Yeah,
However, now I make different choices with how I purchase things because I've gone through an experience of buying training and coaching and all different services. So I teach how to sell high ticket and I teach women how to embody and embrace their innate skills and follow my 5 steps to yes. I always hold my hand up because it's 5 steps, 5 fingers, very simple. And I just show how to feel really light, really easy, good about the experience so that you can close at your highest level. Because fundamentally, everyone wants to be in business to serve people. People who
yeah,
have like good hearts, they want that. But if they are struggling to get clients, they can't do the good work in the world. So I show them how to be able to do that. And I do that through a 12-week coaching program that's all focused on sales. I also host a mastermind, which I love because that's going deep, that's being able to scale. And then I do also do some private coaching and consulting. And why I share all these things is because this is also what I teach my clients to have layered offers. You don't need to have 27 different ways to work with clients, but
yeah.
it's very supportive to have some super premium, some core offers, and small bite offers so that your business flows and you're never stuck if one or two clients decide to roll off or one or two clients come on and you wanted 10. I like balance, I like scaling, and I like to have time for my family.
Love it. And the fact that you, as you say, practice as you preach, you're doing the same steps yourself for your business. So it's a proven step moving forward for everyone else. Now, ideal clients, I know you said women, you've
Mhm.
worked with men as well, but what does your ideal client look like and how do you go about acquiring them?
Yeah, so it's fun. We have a name for her. Her name is Seven Figure Sarah. She legitimately exists, but this is also her avatar. So I love working with women that I can help amplify. They've already started their business. They're actually usually undercharging, over delivering, overworking, and exhausted. And what I like to do with those women who are experts, like almost every single one of my clients has the little letters after their names. They've all gotten the certifications, the degrees, they're smart cookies, but they don't have some of the foundation and fundamentals for business and for selling. So I help them change their offer stack so that they are selling things that serve them and serve their client, and then we scale their business. I don't like complicated funnels. Facebook ads are great. Do ads, do paid advertising. But for me, the way that I communicate and connect with my ideal clients is I'm going to say 98% referral based. I've
Okay.
built a business that is strategically designed to not only create referrals, but to amplify my network. And it's a lot of what I also teach because it's the only process for building business that you actually need is the ability to create and develop relationships because that
Yeah.
is actually where you sell. So with that foundation and focus, I can play with ads and there's no worry. I can do a launch if I want to, but I spend most of my time in true relationship connection. I attend networking events. I talk with my referral partners. I pour into my clients and I ask for referrals, and that keeps my engine running in a really wonderful way.
Awesome. It's nice that you touched on the paid ads and then obviously compared to the referrals because we get a lot of clients, a lot of guests on the podcast. We work with a lot of clients here at Closers and we run the paid ads. We work that for our system and our model. But then a lot of founders we speak to do just literally rely on referrals and that's their bread and butter and what they work on. Is there a reason you chose that preference over like the system of running paid ads?
Great question. So my best answer is both and. I still do some ads occasionally. We just did a campaign for a little while. We're pausing it. I think what happens is when you are in either or exclusively, you don't actually have as much command over things. So I'm a big fan of both, but I also think this ads are for amplification. So if you have everything functioning, working wonderfully, pour them on top. If you
Love it.
start with them, you are trying to figure it out and you're spending money. I also feel, again, ads can be great for people and I do promote and use them and all the things. But I look at ads, if I don't get any money back from this, am I still willing to do it versus they have to perform? Because it is still a gamble. It's ads are, let me explain it this way. Paid advertising is interruptive marketing, which means the person is out there living their life and something crosses their pathway and they're like, ooh, that looks interesting.
Yeah.
When you do referral based or networking based and relationship based sales, it's almost like the equivalent of Google versus Facebook ads. This
Okay.
is search request. So if I'm talking with somebody and I say, hey, what are you looking for? And they are actively seeking my service, and then I can insert my service. It's a faster relationship or purchase. It's a better buyer. So I, again, do like to have both and. I'm a big fan of both, but I think people rely too heavy on paid ads and they don't understand how to build relationships, or
Yeah.
they only do relationship building and they ignore the fact that you do need both. So both and is usually the best answer.
Love it, 100%. And in terms of your team and what is working on the back of Epic and
Mhm.
Select, what does that look like? Do you have a
Oh,
team of marketing, sales that you help you with out?
this is my favorite thing in the whole wide world. And every time I say this, I get people who are like, what? I want that. So my team is tiny.
Love it.
It's me. I have a core team member who supports with actually building some of our stuff, like our pages and sending emails, but she also helps me co-facilitate one of my programs. We have a little VA that is very sweet over in the Philippines, and we just occasionally have her do little things. And then when I choose to run ads, there's a company that I will hire and have them do ads, and that's it. Oh, and there's one more person. So there's this lovely woman on my team, and I always say this, and then my clients laugh. They're like, oh no, her name is Charlotte, and she doesn't actually exist. But here's what she does in our company. She sends the your payment has declined notices. She sends messages to say, no, thank you. I don't want to be on your podcast. We basically have Charlotte do the dirty work that needs to be done for Laura. And I tell it a little tongue in cheek, but I keep my team super, super lean. We're basically 2.5 people.
I like that though. It's more streamlined moving forward, surely, and you have a complete overview moving forward. Everyone's in sync. It's a lot easier communication.
And I only work 4 days a week from 10 to 4.
Love it.
Having life space as well as business profit is very important to me. So I keep my team lean, I keep my time very open, and I keep my profits very high.
Love it. Absolutely love it. And Charlotte, I'm assuming Charlotte is AI bot.
Uh,
Or
Charlotte is sometimes that, and sometimes she's also one of my team members or myself
love
replying, but with her signature.
love it, love it. Just putting the dirty work on somebody else. I really enjoy that. So I'm assuming in terms of once you've acquired your customer, do you then perform a discovery call or sales type
Mhm.
call yourself to then
Yeah,
kind of if you're a good fit?
yeah, both and. I think I've said that 6 times. So because I teach sales calls, I host sales calls.
Love
It's
it.
I love doing it. I have in the past had a sales team. Sometimes I let them go because what I also do is one-to-many selling. So I'll
Mm,
host once a month a marketing event. It's usually just a come to my special case study or my training. I invite a lot of people to it. I teach and train, and I make a group offer, and we follow up with emails. So that's one way people come into our small bite. But I love sales calls. It's something that I teach. I love doing it. But the reason why I love it is because the process that I use, it's not yes or no, do you want to work with me? I communicate with somebody. I find out what their struggle is. I find out what their vision is. And then I give them an invitation with a few different ways to work with me, and they get to choose which one they want. And what
amazing.
they're buying is they're not buying me or my program. They're buying, I'm using my hands because this is how I teach it. I hear your struggle and I understand it and I can get you out of it. and I hear your vision, what you want, and this is the pathway we can go to get it. So what they're really buying, it feels custom curated to them because they're
Yeah.
buying the way they describe their struggle and the way they describe their vision. So I teach that and I do it. And honestly, I really do maybe 2 sales calls a week, give or take, if
Yeah.
that,
Cool.
because I'm selling high ticket because we jokingly call it Laura for life. Once someone comes in, a client lifespan with me is usually 2 to 3 journeys. And whether they are in my mastermind for 2 or 3 years, if they go through my 12-week program and then go into my mastermind and then stay. I have a handful of clients who've been with me for 8 or 9 years, and I have some clients who come in once or twice, but most of my clients stay for at least 3 rotations with me. So I truly nurture them, take care of them, give them the goods, help them grow. And I have ways for them to grow with me. So it's not a program like you learn something once and then you're done. We're
Nice. Yeah.
learning, we're growing, and we do it together.
How amazing. And how long, when you say, when you refer to like 3 cycles or 3 terms, how long is that
Mhm.
roughly in terms of like time frame?
Yeah. So most of my clients, they come in through my 12-week program. So they'll go through my 12-week program and then they'll go into my 12-month program. And then they'll usually stay for one more rotation of 12 months. I do
Cool.
also have little bridge programs. So if somebody comes in for 12 weeks and they basically need more time to keep going, we have a little 3-month extension and then they can come into my 12-month mastermind. And sometimes I do occasionally take on clients one-on-one in a 6-month container, but 9 times out of 10, I'm working at minimum a 12-month container because the truth is, all of my clients want to go do big things. I'm not
Yeah.
working with people who are trying to get their first 1 or 2 clients. Most of my clients are at mid 6 figures and they want to grow to 7 and multi 7. And truth is, it takes some human time to
Of
do the
course.
changes, to dial up your price point, to dial up your client acquisition, to get to that next level. And so I like to be transparent with that. I almost always say, I'm like, honestly, what I should sell you is it's 300,000, it's 3 years, let's dive in. But nobody wants to buy that when they first meet you. So I get them started where they need to go and then they stay with me for more time.
Awesome. Love it. Yeah. Get them what they need and then they realize they need more. I'm
Mhm.
here. Absolutely here for it. So let's talk about the future. What is there a vision for the next 12 months? Have you got any kind of goals or targets that you're looking to hit?
Yes, a big one. So I'm actually starting to do some business acquisition. So one
Okay.
of the things that I've learned is a lot of times I come into my client's business and I make some suggestions. And as a consultant, sometimes they take some and sometimes they don't, which is why I do consulting and coaching because I'm coaching them to actually get it done. And
Yeah.
what we started to learn is I've been functioning almost like a private equity fund without the fund because I tell them what to tweak and change. In fact, one of my beloved clients, she is a facial plastic surgeon, runs a multi 7 figure business, has a very wonky team. And we came in and we restructured her entire team process. I changed all of her price points. We're moving to a membership model. So she has more longevity with her clientele. And then we're bringing a partner to buy in over the next 4 years into her business. And
Cool.
doing all of that is very fun and exciting, but I'm sitting on the sidelines coaching and consulting for her to do it. And so for the next 12 months, we are starting to come into people's businesses and come in as their partner, doing equity
Nice.
acquisition and abilities to not just say, hey, I recommend you do this, but my team and I are actually going to do the work.
Yeah.
And that's been really fun. And we're starting to explore with that.
How cool. So you basically come into the business and have full control over what is going on and a real inside scoop rather than just, we should implement this, you'll get the results like this. How
Yeah.
crazy.
It's huge because you've probably experienced this too. There are some really magnificent people who run businesses and they whipped them up and got going,
Yeah.
but they're not excellent leaders. They're great coaches, great strategists, excellent designers. They also don't always have business savvy, sense, or know how.
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised at what things look like behind the scenes in most of the really big, well known people. Signed a lot of NDAs many years ago when I used to sell for some people that I'm like, they're like, you can't tell anyone that I've hired you to help me do this because I'm out there teaching that I know what I'm doing and they don't. So being able to bring it's now like 30, it's 30 years of business experience. I've hit a certain age. I'm a woman of a certain age, but my 30 years of business building to the table and be able to direct people to say, step aside, you've built something magnificent. I will help you have more profit, but let my team and I come in and run your sales, run your marketing, run your operations, and actually grow the business the way you want to grow it.
Amazing, amazing stuff. And we've run out of time a little bit,
Oh,
but I'm
oh.
going to push through. We kept speaking. um, but I've got a couple of questions I just want to pick your brain about.
Please.
So what would be the best piece of advice that you've received about scaling a business?
Oh, keep it simple.
Nice.
And this is really big. If you have something that simply works and you keep focusing on it and staying to it, you will get to your outcome. The number one reason why people don't scale is they constantly change everything and you don't get traction. So keep it simple and stay focused on the one thing that's working and then amplify from there.
100%. And then as a final note, to any founders who are listening and probably or maybe at the start of their journey,
Mhm.
what advice would you give to them?
Sell at your highest level. You are already excellent. Even if you are new to business, you're not new to your craft, probably, and you're not new to life. And I think the number one thing that I see that hurts my heart is when brilliant women, especially, get started and they make tiny price points because they think they're don't know what they're doing and they're just starting, and that's total BS. Sell your highest level at all times, especially from the start, because the truth is this: you're going to want to give more. And when you sell at a high level, you have freedom and flexibility to give more if you do need to give more. If you undersell, they don't get what they need. You become exhausted and it burns you out. So sell at your highest level.
Yeah, hold your value from the start. Definitely. All aspects of life. I agree with that.
Yes,
Oh, the
most
highest level.
definitely.
Perfect. With that is a wrap on another inspiring episode of Founders Future. Laura, thank you so much for joining me and for sharing your incredible journey, insight, and knowledge with us. Where can people reach out if they would like to work with you or maybe connect?
Very easily. So go to my website, epicatsales.com. It's EPICATSALES.com. And we also have a very special quiz. So if you hit /quiz to that, you can come in and find out what's happening inside your sales process. Because again, most people, when they are struggling with sales, they start to try to fix something that doesn't need to be fixed, or they don't focus on the thing they should focus on. And my quiz lets you just know in about 2 minutes what you actually need to shift so that you can have higher revenue, higher profits, and higher sales.
Love it. And to our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, please don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future via wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with one of our team and discover how we were able to go from 0 to 30 million in less than 3 years. And until then, keep climbing, and we will see you on the next one.